Yeah. Um, let's let's go ahead and continue. We'll just type everything that you point on your cursor. We can still see your cursor. It's kind of getting better and worse here and there. Um, just for the sake of time, let's go ahead and continue.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I can.
we'll get this fixed up. I don't want to waste any more of these good people's time.
So this is my main screen that I look at pretty much when I'm trying to report a bunch of news at one time. Um, so 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. This is what I'm looking at. I've got a detail screen so that you can bring up the details of any particular ticker from the news feed. I've got a news feed. We'll go through all that in just a minute. And then I've got two mover screens. The reason I use two mover screens is because one of them is set to 15 minutes and one of them is set to session. Um, the 15-minute one is the last 15 minutes. So it's very useful in finding spikers, that are just now spiking. In the mover section, you can just do gainers if you want. I like to see gainers and losers because I want to see a crack. And when something cracks, I know it's going to bounce. Um, you can change your regular after hours pre-market, etc. You can do 30 minutes in an hour. I really don't find those very useful. But session and 15 minutes, obviously, both very useful. You can change the market cap. Market cap, I really don't care about, but a lot of people do. Price for me, under $20, but you could also do whatever you want there. You can do custom. So if you wanted to do whatever, it doesn't matter. You can change it to whatever you want. You don't have to use the little slider. Session, yeah, session is for that particular session. So if you're looking at pre-market, it's going to show the entire whatever the highest gainers are for the entire session from 4 a.m. to whatever time it is. Whereas 15 minutes just shows the last 15 minutes. That's kind of why it's important to have both of them. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself flip-flopping back and forth between the 15-minute and the session because you don't always want to view 15 minutes. Then in the news and pretty much any of these, if you see not down here, I don't know why it would be red, IMRN, and those are green. But in the news, when you're looking at it, if it's red ticker, it's red on the day. If it's a green ticker, it's green on the day. You'll also see, you're not going to be able to see it here, but when you do that little hover over and it gives you the little tooltip or whatever, that chart on the bottom is your day chart. Doesn't have time frames or anything like that, but you will see a gold line that runs vertical through that chart, and that is the time that that news was posted. So you can actually tell what kind of price action it got after the news was posted. Um, then, as far as my sources, I like to use every source. You don't have to use every source, but I do recommend it just because, I mean, more news I have no problem with filtering through the news by using every source. If you choose just Benzinga Wire, you're going to miss a lot of stuff because they post stuff after the company posted. So if a company released a PR, you're going to be missing the actual spike. So that's why I like to have everything clicked. All that does is bring you every different type of news. I do not recommend color coding any of these. This is the color coding option. So if you accidentally click the bar, it's going to color code. There's no way to take it away. It says it's black right here, but it's actually still red. So if you click that X at the end of the color bar, it will actually turn black and be black. I recommend those being black because you want your colors to be filtered. I don't get the small chart when I hover over a news ticker. Really? What is your show? Oh, it's not an option that I ever turned on or off.
Yeah, if I hover over the ticker, if it doesn't have the plus sign, I typically, I mean, it does that for me every time I hover over the ticker.
It's like what mine does.
Yeah.
That could be a browser issue where it doesn't have a plugin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good point. Could be a browser issue.
It
I am
depends.
not using Google Chrome.
It
I
does,
am actually using the new Microsoft Edge, which is based off of Google Chrome.
I'm using Chrome as well.
So if you're using Google
Um,
Chrome, it should work.
if you're in details or like,
The only
what I've
other
seen
thing I
like,
can say, I don't know, but I use the antique theme. I don't think that would do anything, but that's why my screen is kind of orange and looks like a Bloomberg terminal. If you've ever seen one, that's what it looks like. Well, kind of. Same color scheme. Um, so yeah, hopefully you can get that fixed. It's pretty useful. I mean, it's not that important if you can't get it, uh, but it is kind of useful, especially if you're looking at news that already transpired. Generally, I'm looking at news as it comes out. So obviously, that gold line will not be there because the news just released. But if you're looking at older news, it is very useful to find if the stock actually had any type of movement off of it. It's very useful when you're actually going into your detail screen. I don't use it on this. Oh, so I have a research tab that I use. I wanted to get to this in a minute, but this is where I'd research any type of stock. I've got a day, and I usually put that on 1 minute. So I've got a 1 minute chart and a day chart, and then I've got this big ass news screen. So that would be useful. Probably, I don't know, because I'm not seeing the gold line, so I don't know why. I would think that would be useful to see what news would make a stock move, but I'm not seeing that gold line right now. Anyway, you'll see it at some point. That's what it means. I don't know why it's not there right now. Bad example, I guess. Anyway, so back to the sources and the categories. Click all the sources. That's just my recommendation. Partner links is going to be stuff like Seeking Alpha and all those different news sources. So it's good to have their news too. Seeking Alpha is way behind, but what's good about that is news comes out at 6 a.m. You play the spike or whatever. Seeking Alpha puts it out at like 1 p.m. Well, you know what? There's going to be a portion of the market that didn't see that news until Seeking Alpha put it out. So you might get some price action off of that. So that's why I like to have everything checked. For categories, for me, I have a lot of categories selected, so you can just choose whatever you'd like here. But I recommend color coding them, and I do recommend all these categories. You're going to get some news that's not important, like all the legal shit. Most of the legal class action bullshit does not move a stock. But I have not found a way to get rid of it. There's actually a legal section, and I do not have it checked, but I still get all that class action crap. I don't get as much, so definitely do not check the legal. Anyway, analyst ratings, I like to do downgrade and upgrade. I actually have an analyst ratings calendar workspace that has all of these checked. But for my main news feed, I'm only interested in downgrades and upgrades. I color code them accordingly. Downgrades are red, upgrades are green. Exclusives, That's kind of like a Benzinga wire thing. It's going to be pretty hot topic type stuff. So I like to have that. I usually do that. They have it red as default, so I just left it as red. I didn't even change it. Then go down the general tab. I've got biotech, healthcare, and movers and shakers. They are all color coded differently. That's my personal. I just kind of relate green and blue to health, so that's why I have them colored that way. Movers and shakers really has nothing to do with healthcare or biotech, but it's stocks that are moving. So I want to know about it. I don't really care about all this other crap. I do not find anything when I click those. I don't find any news coming up that's really beneficial to me at all whatsoever. Hot, same thing as exclusives. It's a hot topic. M&A, very important. It stands for mergers and acquisitions. That's why it's highlighted purple. It pretty much sticks out in my newsfeed really well. Market moving exclusives, same idea as exclusives, except they actually consider those really to move the market. So if you wanted to uncheck exclusives and you just get the market moving exclusives, might be a good idea. I haven't tried that, but like I said, I like to get all the news. Big Beats, which is a big trader, he does a lot of the videos for Benzinga. He doesn't use any filters. He gets every source and he gets every bit of news, and he just watches it. And you can do that too. I just find it easier to do it this way, and there's a lot of really good ways to go over to filter your news, and we will go over that actually in just a second once I tell you all these. Markets, cannabis, cryptocurrency, futures, penny stocks. You can choose whatever you want here. I do not recommend choosing options. It will flood your news feed with a crap ton of stuff that you can get in a different workspace. I have a unusual options workspace just for that reason. Forex, if you're into that stuff. Commodities, if you're into that stuff. Commodities is not a bad one because gold, if gold's doing well, the gold stocks are going to do well, which I'll show you. There's actually, I have a full watch list of anything related to gold. And I'll show you how to do that as well. I like to code the cannabis green for obvious reasons. Penny stock, it doesn't matter what you code it. I did it that ugly yellow color. News, assets, sales, contracts. I code them brown. Same with press releases. I feel like all that stuff's put on paper. That's why I coded it brown. Paper's brown. Earnings, I leave that black so it actually sticks out more. Most of your news will actually be color coded if you do all this. But earnings, guidance, IPOs, insider trades, stock split, those are all black and they stick out really well that way. Not necessarily that any of those is earnings is definitely a stock mover. Insider trades is a big stock mover. Stock split will just kind of let you know of something going on. An actual stock split is good. Reverse split, not so much. But a stock split is good. Guidance is actually related to analyst ratings and earnings. Well, no, guidance is related to earnings, not analyst ratings. I apologize. FDA, again, FDA, that is very important. So it's another color that will kind of stick out in my news feed. Offerings, another color that sticks out in the news feed really well because that's equally as important. And then rumors, I like to have that checked as well. You don't get a lot of rumors, but when you do, pay attention to it. Those tend to move the stock. You'd be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't. Press releases, you can uncheck press releases. It's gonna, if you notice, my newsfeed it became a lot more colorful because all the press releases are gone. So you can do that. and have your own press release news feed if you wanted to. But again, I want to know everything as fast as possible. And when a press release comes out, that's the quickest you're going to get it. That's the company putting out the press release. It's no other news source. So you're going to get that before anything else. SEC green, I got it green for money. Anything related to the SEC generally has to do with money. So earnings, offerings, insider trades, all that has to be filed with the SEC. So green for money. Short sellers, signals, those are black. And then finally, WIM. WIIM is like Benzinga's, I guess like it's their own articles. They write them. So not necessarily a stock mover, because the only people that are going to see it are people with Benzinga Pro, but they have a lot of good ideas, and sometimes they give you insight on something you weren't aware of. So that's pretty much all the categories I do from my main newsfeed. All these other ones, I've checked some of them out. Trading ideas, I actually do use that. I've got it on this trade ideas section. Pre-market outlook, I use that as well in the trade ideas section. Intraday update as well, and after hours center. All of that is in this trade ideas section, and they're separated. So all that after hours center, intraday update, pre-market outlook, and WIM are all in here. And then over here is all of those trade ideas. I had them color coded. I don't know why they aren't color coded anymore. But so for your news feed, the other thing that's really important is the watch list option. So your watch list, you can add any watch list that you have. I have a lot of them. So my eyes is it's got a lot of stocks on it that I've watched that have moved anytime recently, basically. But that's going to bring up just tickers from that watch list. So if you want low float stocks, I happen to have a low float watch list. That's going to bring up news only on a low float stock. You can make that whatever you want. If you go to your screener, which I don't actually have a screener tool, but to create a watch list, you can go to your screener and set it to whatever you want. And then when we'll just do this real quick, actually. So if you want just healthcare and where's my float? Low float. We'll go with under 25 million. So you can do that to anything you want under 10 million. You can do a custom if that's what you want to do. But that is every healthcare stock under 25 million float. I can highlight that, go over to your side over here, highlight well, hold on. You just want to highlight the ticker. I don't know why it's not. Why is it not highlighting the ticker? I've done this before.
There was an update. There was an update where I think they took off just copying and pasting the tickers from the straight up screener. I don't know. That's something I am going to email support about tomorrow. But if you go to your watch list,
I got it. I got it. I don't. It's fine.
All right, cool.
So I turned all the columns off, and now I can highlight all the tickers. Why I would have to do that, I do not know. It's ridiculous. All right. So anyway, oh, hold on. It changed everything. That's not healthcare and all that good stuff. I want my low float healthcare. Healthcare. Where's my float? There it is. Oh no, not over. I don't want over. Nobody wants that. Oh, so anyway, yeah, there you go. So then you can copy and paste all of those low float stocks to a watch list. Go to a watch list. I don't want to copy over this. So you can click on the plus symbol, make a new watch list, name it whatever, healthcare low float. Let's see if this works. Well, it did not copy all of them, I don't think. It takes a minute to add them all if it's a lot of stocks. I don't know if it's doing that right now. Doesn't seem to be. But that's how you would create a watch list. I don't know why it's not doing the entire 100 out of 368 results are shown. I just realized that down at the bottom down there. So it should at least make 100 tickers. Oh my God, I'm going to have to contact John. So let's go over how to contact John. There's a feedback thing up here. MotherGoose. It would be awesome if you fixed the watch list copy and paste from Screener Tool. I'm doing a webinar and trying to show it, and it's not working. Okay. So if you ever find anything wrong, or if you ever find something that you'd like to be added, do the feedback. So they do listen, they do make changes, and yeah, I'm glad that went well. So anyway, we're going to take this not full healthcare low float watch list, but it does have a few. We're going to click off my eyes. I don't want that. And we'll click off the low float. Where did my healthcare low floats go? Oh, it's probably at the bottom. Yeah. And there, that is all healthcare related low float news. That's very beneficial if you want notifications, desktop notifications. So if you see up here, desktop notifications, you turn that on, it's going to make a nice little sound and pop up down here in the bottom right. I think on a Mac, it pops up in the top right. I'm not really sure. I don't have a Mac, but pops up in the bottom right down here. So if you are in it, you don't even have to have the screen open. You're doing something else. You're at your broker. It'll pop up there no matter what. So you do not have to have the browser open. It doesn't matter. You don't even have to have this workspace open. I could be in a completely different workspace. I still get notifications for that particular news watch list. I do that. It actually was very beneficial with Mara the other day. I've been holding Mara for way too long, and I finally did this. I turned off all my. Normally, I had desktop notifications on for everything. So when news popped, I heard a sound. But that got really annoying. So anyway, I turned it all off and only turned desktop notifications on for my personal positions that I have. That day, Mara spikes, and the only reason I caught the spike is because I had the desktop notifications on. I wouldn't have caught it. It was a very quick spike. Cosmic Mystic, he's pissed. So just a good way to use watch lists, desktop notifications. Hopefully they fix that screener tool thing, because that is a seriously awesome way to make a watch list based off of. You can do all different types of stuff with that screener tool. RSI, earnings. You can all that kind of. You can do all these. It's not quite as good as Stocks to Trade. I gotta say, Stocks to Trade's screener tool. I'm not trying to pump them up in this, but is a little bit better. It gives you a few more options that I like, but this is something that's nice. So if you want high, basically any stock that's within range of their 52-week high, that's a nice screener tool, or over the 52-week high. In range under the 52-week high would be down here. But that's good, because you're going to find a breakout. Personal problems. If something's about to break its 52-week high, if it breaks out past that point, that's going to break out, or a good chance of breaking out. Same thing with a 52-week low. I like to know when a stock's near a 52-week low, just because that's a good chance for a swing. I'm going to look at the stock before I just buy it at a 52-week low. But if I look at the chart and it's just down on its, I look at the news, there's no reason it's down like that, bankruptcy or some stupid crap like that. That's a good chance for a swing. So that's something you can use that screener tool for. That's very useful. Percent on the open. There's a whole bunch of different ones. You'd have to. I'm not going to go through them all, because that would take forever. Average volume. I don't like to play anything under 1 million average volume. I actually filter everything. When you're looking at your watch list or screeners or anything, there's these little filters on the side. And if I can filter volume, I'm filtering volume. If I can filter average volume, I'm going to filter average volume. Mainly because I don't want to get stuck in some piece of crap stock that does 1,000 shares a day for the last year. I'm not interested in that stock. I don't care if it's spiking fucking 1,000% today. I'm not interested in that stock. Just because I don't want to get stuck. You have to cut losses at that point. And as you know me, I don't cut losses. I just duck, goose. Duck, goose. So anyway, further down, signal alerts. I used to have signal alerts instead of two movers tools. But I like having two movers tools better. And the signal alerts screen, I actually have block. So I have the block trades. Basically, it's a news source. Benzinga signals is there, and you type in block, and it brings up every block trade. The reason I want to know the size of the block. I want to know if it's at the bid. I want to know if it's above the ask, at the ask. Okay. If you get a block trade that's at the bid, can anybody tell me what that means? Or even worse, I say worse, gives it away. If you get a block trade that is under the bid, that is a very bearish sign. Because somebody decided to sell a bunch. A block trade is a bunch of shares. So somebody decided to sell a bunch of shares under the bid. They said, fuck it, I got to get out. So it's the same thing above the ask on AAL. I don't know what was going on at 417 today on AAL, but somebody felt that they needed to buy some shares and they didn't care what they paid for it. I have a news feed down below it. It's got sources, Benzinga Wire, Benzinga Signals, press releases. That's just so I can look up a ticker, basically, really quick. I'm not looking for all the news or whatever, just so I can look up a ticker. Earnings monitor, we probably won't go through setting up a new thing. Hopefully y'all can learn how to set it up, or I'll make another video next time. Earnings monitor is exactly that. It's earnings. So I have a detail screen so I can look at the stock, sources. All I need is Benzinga Wire. You could do press releases as well. And then I've got earnings and guidance. That's all I have there. That's pretty much all you need for earnings. And then the earnings calendar down here is very useful. Earnings calendar, you can set dates. So if you want to know all the earnings for this week, you can highlight from here to here, or I guess you have to actually click it. So if you click one date and then click the next date, my computer just fucking up.
It loads dates as you click it.
Oh, that's right.
So
That's right.
if
Every
you
time you click
switch
it,
to
it loads the entire calendar. So be careful.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
it is a work in progress, but you have to realize, I mean, you're looking at all these earning dates and over the thousands of tickers that there are over the past week, there's like a shit ton of results populating. So it's not Benzinga Pro being, glitchy or acting up. It's just a whole lot of information that they have to populate for you. So I end up having to wait over that every now and then.
Yeah, and these down at the bottom are pretty useful too. There's actually usually more options than that, but today, this week, this month, last month, obviously, that's going to obviously just choose this week. I could have just done that instead of trying to highlight it. But you can highlight it if you want a specific date range. You can also do watch list if you just want your watch list. You can do that. You can filter by watch list the same way you would the newsfeed. Next workspace is analyst ratings. Pretty much the same thing. So news, I've got everything under analyst ratings clicked. Benzinga Wire and press releases. And then an analyst ratings calendar. You get more analyst ratings than you do earnings. So what we just said is very important. Even on a single day, you might get too many results where it pops up saying, hey, this is too much. I'm going to give you this many results. Hey, I'm sorry it's blurry, guys. I don't know why, but hopefully we'll get that resolved in the future. And I'll plan on making a YouTube video about all this anyway, which was my plan to begin with. And then after last night's webinar, I just decided this was a good idea. But obviously, if it's really blurry, a YouTube video would probably be better. So anyway, the analyst rating, analyst calendar, news feed, sector watch. I use that kind of just to watch a certain sector so I can create my own watch list. Right now, it's on a biotech watch list. This biotech watch list, I actually downloaded from Benzinga. They've got a bunch of watch lists. If you click on the little question mark at the top, I should have actually said this in the beginning. Question mark at the top takes you to the Benzinga help help thing Can you see the Benzinga help, or do I have to actually switch screen? Switch screen? There we go. So you can see the Benzinga help now.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, so it's got a bunch of stuff: tutorial videos, pro tip videos, past webinars. There's a bunch of stuff you can find in here. If you scroll to the very bottom, though, Benzinga watch list, and if you go to the Benzinga watch list, they've got watch list on pretty much everything. 5G, coronavirus. I've downloaded all these. I don't even use some of them, but one day I probably will. You know, one day something's going to be popping that I'm going to be interested in. If you want to know every ticker on the SPY, you can do that. I download all these watch lists, my personal preference, but biotech calendar is the one that's updated. So there's a biotech one and biotech calendar. I don't know why they just don't get rid of the biotech one. I'm not really sure, but biotech calendar is updated every month by Big Beat. So I would go with that one, obviously. The next one is Edgar, which stands for SEC. Again, it's just so I could filter just SEC related news. So it's press releases and SEC. And then a detail screen. Research, I went over this before, but it's basically so I can have two charts on the screen and then their full thing of news. That way I can properly research the stock. You can also just go through all their different financials, and I like having the big news on that side, on the right side, and then the charts on the other side. Unusual options activity. Unusual options activity, why that's important. So if you find that somebody is spending a lot of money, oh wait, you can't see shit.
Yeah, we can.
No, oh, you can?
It's just loading.
It just didn't show on mine. Okay.
Yeah.
The unusual options activity, it's a lot of information. So I don't know why it's just loading right now. I think the streaming is probably slowing down my internet, I would imagine. But anyway, unusual options is important because basically if somebody else is spending a lot of money to, oh, that's why. If you saw that little box that popped up, it said reach the limit. Anytime that pops up, it pretty much locks up your Benzinga Pro. And that's because there was too much information coming back at you. Generally speaking, when I'm going to the unusual option, this is what I'm talking about. I'm looking for a certain ticker, so I'm not going to get all of this. I'm just going to get. That did not bring up Mark. I'm just going to look at Mark, and then I also only want to do the ones for today. I really don't care about maybe this week you could do. Yeah. So you're only bringing up 4. I have not looked at these, so I have no idea if this is even good examples. But what I wanted to show you is the total value. So the total share value. This guy's spending $39,000. That one's spending $44,000. That's not even a lot. Sometimes it'll be close to $1 million. And so if somebody is doing a call sweep at close to $1 million, that's a pretty bullish sign. They're willing to spend that much money thinking the stock will go up. Same thing with if it's a put sweep, that's a bearish sign. Call sweep means they think that stock's going to go up. Put sweep means they think the stock's going to go down. You can also see the strike. So the strike is what they anticipate the stock getting to. So that's also kind of important information as well. That's kind of what I use unusual options, but there's a lot more information to it. There's actually a webinar on that help section that I just talked about that actually goes over unusual options activity and why it can be helpful even if you don't play options. Trade ideas I went over, so I'm not really going to go over that. I don't really use it that often unless I have time. Like if I've got time to read the pre-market report or something, that's when I do that. Keywords. So this, I brought up this. Keywords is another very, very useful thing. If you're looking for certain thing, if you have a play, you like to play news on FDA approvals. RSI? What do you mean? When I'm using it with EMA4? Or just RSI in general? Yeah, with EMA4, RSI and EMA4. So if the EMA4, if the entire candle is over the EMA4 line at the same time that the RSI is over 70, yeah, that's all you needed to know. Okay, you don't need me to go through it. All right, good. Yeah, because we did all that yesterday, Spaz. Thanks for showing up. Okay, I appreciate that. Oh, that's Starlord. I thought that was Spaz.
That's funny. We're going to do 10 minutes until we call the stream good, guys. Or I mean, if Goose got more stuff going on, then if y'all are staying in, that's good. That's awesome. But after 10 minutes, I'm cutting off the recording.
All right, sounds good. So this is a keyword filter. I've got all keywords: COVID-19, 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 COVID-19. You can put whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. If it's popping, it's going to bring up different information. So met primary endpoint, successful trial. Let me, so you can actually see them. Met primary endpoint, COVID-19. Successful trial, COVID-19. FDA approval, COVID-19. Lift clinical hold, COVID-19. I use all those because I like to go long. You could obviously do the same thing with did not meet primary endpoint, unsuccessful trial. I don't know what it would be for FDA approval when they just decline something, but I've got a whole list. I'll show you in just a minute, and I add to that list all the time. So anyway, this is going to bring up all of these news articles are based on COVID-19 and with those specific filters. You do have to have a separate news feed. So I can't put all those filters into one news feed because then it's going to look for all those words in every article. So if it doesn't meet it, it's yeah. So you have to have separate news feeds for each one. But you can do COVID-19 and lift clinical hold if you want to. And you can do a bunch of different, test it out. We were actually going to do that, but we ran out of time. We were just going to go through keywords, see if y'all came up with any keyword ideas and see if it works, see if it brings up anything. I have a list, so y'all can see that. It switches automatically, I assume. Yeah, it does. All right. That's just a list of stuff that I've made. Key phrases. Met primary endpoint. That's a bullish phrase. Did not meet primary endpoint, bearish. And so I will upload this file to the stream thread. Matter of fact, I can do that now. Oh wait, no, I can't do it now. I haven't saved it yet. It's on Google Sheets. So I'll do it later. Anyway, I'll upload it, and it's got key phrases that are helpful and what they mean. We really don't have time to go through all of these, but you can think of anything. Trump. One thing that's not mentioned in here is law enforcement. I typed that in. It brought up all the law enforcement news plays that you've had this entire week. So it's just a good way during hot topic times to bring up the hot topic. Or, like I said, if your particular setup is that you only like to play news that's an FDA approval, that's all you want to play, then that's a good way to search for that and only have that news pop up. You're not interested in all the other news. So yeah, I will paste that. We can add to that. I wish I could make it like a shared document amongst the group. I don't know how we would be able to do that without using like Microsoft Teams or something.
Okay. Yeah, we can actually straight up share rolling updated Google spreadsheet file.
On the Discord, really?
I mean, you just copy paste your Google Docs link here to the Discord.
Oh, okay.
I mean that's simple way to do it.
I got you. And then I just have to unlock it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I were you, I mean, I would always keep a backup that's your main that you can keep locked.
Yeah. Somebody could just come in and delete it all.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I got that. But yeah, that way, I mean, we could just add to it if we share it. I think that's a good idea. Somebody could add to it and say, "Hey, man, I found that this is really, really successful." But pretty much, you think of it, you can search for it. Another good thing that you could search for is forms, SEC forms. I didn't even go over that when I went to the Edgar sheet, but yeah, you could search for Form 4. Okay, and Form 4, if you're not familiar with Form 4, is basically like insider buying. So it's usually anything relating to selling insider. It's bearish, basically. Form 4. It's not good. So that would be just a good example. If you're looking for specific forms for the SEC, Tim Gertani, I think it's Tim Gertani, or is it Stephen Dux? They talk about two specific forms that are in relation to dilution. I don't know the forms off the top of my head. Cosmic, do you know what I'm talking about?
That's something that we'll come back and circle back to on tomorrow's stream.
Okay.
I think that'd be a good idea, just for time's sake, and people gone ahead and having to leave. Edgar, it can be a whole video in itself, because then we'd have to break down on what SEC forms are important, why they're important, what keywords you want to look at whenever you're looking at SEC forms. I personally am setting up a whole layout myself just for SEC research. So it's, I mean, and like the big keywords that I want to hear, like I want to know if a stock is doing an offering, warrants, dilution, anything like that. And then
you can search for all that stuff.
Yeah, you can search for all that stuff, but I have it set up in a separate layout, just because I have multiple tabs for my SEC searches. But we can discuss all that in more webinars. I do want to hear everybody's thoughts right there in the stream thread that I just posted. Do y'all like this format of kind of like what we're doing? I mean, of course, we're going to work the kinks out, see how come this image is a little bit blurry. It's going to kind of suck on the YouTube video as well, but I mean, what he's saying is something that we can easily follow along with, and we can go back over. Yeah. Start a topic request. Yeah, I mean, we can.
That's not a bad idea.
No, that's not a bad idea. So if anybody, yeah, DM me or Goose. Honestly, I think that's one of the easiest ways. Just right click on our name and send us a DM, and we'll kind of pull up the topics, and then we'll post the topics to see on each stream to see what y'all want to go for on the next one, and we can go do that from there. Do y'all think y'all like the whole having only us Spaz, Goose, and I have access speaking, and kind of opening up the floor to questions on the stream thread at the end, or do y'all want to have kind of mic access toward the end so you can ask for verbal questions? Don't want too many cooks. Typing here is good. Yeah. Muted is good. Okay. Well, we'll keep it. We'll keep that like it is right here. If y'all have any topics, you can post them right here in this stream thread. Just post the topics right here, or you can DM one of us. I look at every single message that comes through Discord. But other than that, guys, Goose, do you have any closing remarks? I'm sorry, cut you off a little bit short, but we are hitting that 1 hour mark, and kind of want to keep these a little bit shorter for YouTube purposes.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have anything else to add really. I didn't talk about the squawk. I don't know if y'all noticed the squawk.
Oh yeah,
It's very important.
yeah,
You just turn it on.
yeah. It's really you just click it.
All you do is click it,
So
and if it's green, you're good to go.
Since you're talking about Squawk, maybe show them the chat as well.
oh yeah, the breaking news chat. That's also another chat room that you'll see me bouncing in and out of every now and then.
So yeah, right below the chat or the squawk, you do have the chat. It's not like the breaking news. There's no like breaking news person in there. Well, I guess there kind of is, but it's not the same as stocks to trade. It's more of a chat room like we have here to talk about stuff. You can talk about whatever you want in there. It doesn't really matter. They don't have rules.
Yeah, but in here we can post gifs and memes. So hashtag winning. Start looking for a guest speaker. Oh, you're already reading our minds. Don't read too far into it. We're just now hitting 100 members in the Discord, and yeah, like we are growing. So get all fuck, get Tim. That's funny.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That yeah that yeah. We'll post a webinar where we announce that he's going to guest speak, and then that webinar is going to cost $1,000 to watch. But yeah, if anything else, guys, yeah, just post here in this stream thread. I will be going through here, try to keep the clutter to the minimal so I can go through it and not have to make my eyes bleed. DM me, DM Goose, or Spaz. Spaz is actually doing a whole lot of construction work on the Discord in the back end. So actually, if you have any tips, hints, or tricks on how to make the stream, the Discord run a little bit more efficient, send one of us a DM or send him a DM. Spaz.
Our server is based out of Central US, so just take that in note. It is going to have a little bit of a different connection depending on which coast you're on or if you're out of the US. Just take that into consideration. But other than that, I am working a lot on the back end, like you said. If you have any requests or suggestions, definitely shoot me a DM or one of them a DM. We are fine-tuning a lot of things, just trying to make things a lot simpler and better for everybody else. So.
All right, and then again, this also couldn't. A lot of this stuff, you see us. We boosted the server, and we've been getting a few amount of paid for bots, and that couldn't have been done without the donations. Donations here. I'll read out the people who actually did donations for us. Lokiwa, um, Diaz. He actually spent his own money into boosting the server. Studley, our other moderator. Um, I've boosted the server. Goose has. So has Spaz. And then Gigi is a big shout out to Gigi. Thank you so much for your generous donation. And then I believe we have one more, Boone. Thank you as well. So the donations, you just go to the hashtag donations tab, and it has all of our information. It is a pulled expense. Everything that comes into here goes back into here. This is just helping us grow the server a little bit more. And we're not taking these donations and trying to pocket them. We want to make a better experience for everybody here. So, and we'll be candid. We'll probably go ahead and have another page where we post what we spent donations on, so we can be straightforward with everybody. But other than that, y'all have any other questions, comments, concerns before I stop recording? Any of my admins have any thoughts, questions, concerns before I stop this recording?
Everyone seems to be good.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yep.
thank y'all so much for joining the Third Anonymous Traders live stream. We will be trying to do one hopefully every night for at least an hour. If that's, I'll try to do it as well. If Goose and Spaz aren't unavailable. And just answering questions, going over hot moving stocks throughout the day, and just kind of providing my thoughts on what I think may happen. But I can always be wrong. Everybody can always be wrong. So I'm just doing my research and showing y'all how I do my research is essentially what this is. But thank y'all so much, fam.
See y'all also jumping into the stock squad. Don't forget about that. Even if you don't have a mic, like Sedley said earlier, we are in there throughout the day. Usually all of us are in at one point or another throughout the day, alerting different things as they pop up. So good, another secondary source that we got.
All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That stock squawk is awesome. And in the morning, I will if I'm not able to be at the computer, I like to leave my computer on and running. Just the breaking, just all news, just coming through the news feed. So that's something that I have to ask our Benzinga reps if that's something that we can continue doing. Just because we don't want to damage our good graces with them. But other than that, guys, that's all I got. I'm going to end the recording here.